Just for your records, I'm telling that. Let me check it's happening now. Yeah, it's happening. Cool. So, uh, okay, perfect. So, I'll just start by giving a quick introduction, and you can do as well, and then we'll go over
Sure.
right away discussion. So, format is it's you and me talking. I am only recording it for my vlog. Don't be sensitive about the fact that it is getting recorded. I'm
No,
just
no issues, no issues. I was
it's
just having an issue कि अच्छा कैमरा होगा तो
no,
थोड़ा सा
it's
होता है ना
absolutely
कि
fine.
हाँ.
It's only
Sure.
my memories, to be honest. Saying
All right, all right.
I want to keep this as a memory to me, not to
Sure.
anyone.
Sure, Shashank, no worries, huh?
Okay, so let me introduce myself. I have been working with, I mean, from the context I will introduce. I'm an engineer, of course, as you and me are. The first job I had was for a firm which is HCL, where they were uh, introducing a concept of cloud brokerage. Cloud brokerage was a concept and a model where they would sell virtual machines of data centers as their own and term that as HCL Blue Cloud. So it's an experimental hire for HCL, and we were a bunch of 8, 9 people who got trained for for understanding what is Blue Cloud, pitching it to customers, talking to internal folks for it. All that was, I mean, talking to internal folks, selling it as well to internal folks. But at the end, it was a data center service, a private data center, whose service we were brokeraging and selling it to customers like Narayan Hridalia, Infosys, and stuff like that. So that's how my cloud journey started. I I started working for smaller companies. I worked for Practo as well for a while, and then
Okay.
eventually deep dive into started working with AWS and Google Cloud.
Okay.
And that's I mean, to keep the context also alive with you on what you're going to talk about and how are we going to engage. That's why I just gave a background of what I did as well. So
Sure,
Shubham, if
sure.
you want to give a context, and then we'll
Yeah.
just talk through, and that's
Sure,
all.
sure. So I just quickly walk through about myself. So
Sure.
I'm Shubham, and so by academics I'm engineer, and by choice and profession I'm product manager at Magic Pen. So
Okay.
it's a hyper-local application which allows you to explore local retailers around you.
Okay.
All right. So I have a couple of doubts on
Perfect.
cloud solutions and management systems. So, Shashank, keep in mind that I'm just a native on this aspect, on this sector,
No
right?
worries. No
So,
worries.
uh, mhm. matlab, basically, first of all, I would like to know that what is cloud solution and what is the exactly need of cloud solution?
Okay, that's a good question. Let me give you a perspective. So then I think I'll go a little roundabout. Please bear with me. So there were a lot of organizations earlier in 2012, 13, where they would prefer buying their own landscape, IT landscape, meaning they
Okay.
would prefer buying servers and laptops and end user computing devices. So definitely you still see organizations buying for their users, right? But earlier, what used to happen is, let's say, I'm giving you an example of Canara Bank. Canara Bank still does it, but just an example, XYZ customer, they like to have the entire infrastructure in their own office. They will have a server room. They'll call that a mini data center or a large data center. Buy servers there, buy large tower servers, rack servers, and mount it on literally racks. So it'll be literally like a rack. On that there will be a 1U size or 2U size servers. They will place it inside those racks and combine them to create a data center. Data center
Okay.
meaning that whole location will have compute power of Intel, AMD, whatever they buy. They'll have storage, they will have networking, they will have internet connectivity, all that included in one place. And all of their
Okay.
users of the organization will connect to that data center for all of these needs.
So any kind of licensing is also required for these
Yeah,
kind of
Windows,
systems?
everything, Windows license or SQL license, SAP hosting, everything would be in that place. So
Okay.
risk was if they didn't have a backup, or if there was a disaster like an earthquake, the entire data center falling on the ground and breaking or crashing, the risk was that entire data will go. The biggest risk was that. So for to mitigate that risk, what people did was they created a data center and they called it created another data center which they called it as data center recovery place,
Okay. Okay.
DCDR. So disaster recovery place, basically DCDR model. DC data center would have the primary data, DR center would have a secondary
Recovery
data.
of all that data.
Yeah, copy of all that. Absolutely, copy of all that. And
Okay, so it is
sometimes,
similar like it is similar like we use Google Drive. So first of all, photo
yeah,
will be in your mobile, and then it will automatically sync to the Google Drive.
Google Drive is a multitudinal thought of this DR only. DR was a basic thought
Okay,
process.
okay,
Like
okay.
somebody in Bangalore has a data center. Canara Bank only. Let me take an example. Canara Bank, I created their data center in disaster recovery. That's why I know it. They
Okay,
had
okay.
a data center in Bangalore, large data center in Bangalore, MG Road office. In fact, they have an MG Road office. I don't know if you have seen it near the Trinity Metro station. They have a
Okay, okay.
large data center there. Inside that office, they have a data center below,
Okay,
managed by TCS. I don't know if they still
okay.
manage it or IBM manages it now. And that data center had a location, a secondary location, which would again be connected to literally wires under the ground, man. And that will be generally customers preferred these two locations to be 100 kilometers apart. But अगर वो option नहीं है, then it will be sometimes in the same city or sometimes in
Okay,
the near city. Like if it is for Canara Bank, it was Mangalore and this Bangalore. And sometimes they, I mean, I don't know if their DR was in Mysore, I don't remember. But in one of the tier 2 cities is what they had their DR.
okay. Cool.
Now let me connect you to the thought process of cloud from here. What happened was the setup itself will cost them at least nothing less than 5 to 10 crores. One
Okay.
data center.
Legacy system.
Yeah, legacy. Even if they buy modern ones, even if you try to invest and create a data center now, it will cost you
Okay,
nothing
okay.
less than 5 to 10 crores.
Oh, all right. Okay.
And for a company like Canara Bank, that size, or for a company which has 1500 to 2000 people, it will cost nothing less than 3 4 crores to set up a
Okay.
data center like that. What is the value out of it? Literally a cost sunk right away in the beginning of the investment. As in, right away you put that much cost and it's gone, right? Are you able to utilize it? You have just infrastructure against it. Does it have value? Yes, in the terms of infrastructure. But you have actually blocked your entire 5 crores and kept, no? So
Correct.
customers, what they started doing is that they started reaching out to private data centers. This is the evolution part, huh? Where
Okay.
they data centers like I worked in a data center called Control-S. Example of
Okay.
Control-S. Data
Okay.
centers like Control-S will say that, hey, I will do that investment for you. I will create a data center. I have a space as well. Your
Okay.
people can connect to my space. I will give you MPLS line. MPLS is in a proper lease line, a dedicated internet pipe, or a lease line which was again super dedicated lease lines, to be just terming it simply. And you connect to me and you pay me monthly,
Okay.
but you have to pay me for 5 years or
Acha.
3 years.
Okay.
That was the lock-in period. So
Okay.
that was called the private cloud setup. It was
Okay.
called
Okay.
private cloud. That's where the evolution started. These companies started minting money. Basically, it's nothing. It's real estate, right? मेरे पास एक बिल्डिंग है, मेरे पास एक जगह है.
Right.
मैंने वो जगह को रेंट पे डाला, सर्वर्स डाला, इंटरनेट प्रोवाइड किया, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोवाइड किया, मैं उसका पैसा ले लिया. Simple.
Yes. Yes. So
Private data
it's
center is that.
similar like वही फ्लैट वाला सिस्टम लाइक आई हैव अ
हाँ,
लैंड तो फ्लैट बना दिया और फ्लैट मैंने डिवाइड कर दिया
मैंने
रेंट
रेंट
पे.
कर दिया फ्लैट को. बेचा
करेक्ट
भी नहीं,
करेक्ट.
मैंने रेंट कर दिया.
हाँ हाँ राइट राइट
और
गॉट
या
इट.
तो लीज पे चढ़ा दिया मैंने.
and
Now,
and the owner of the private line is purchasing the licensing and all of these things and maintaining the data center
yeah. He
on its own.
purchases Windows license. He will purchase
Okay.
server licenses. He will purchase user licenses, if server user
Okay.
licenses, CAL licenses,
So that
client
is
access
only कि
licenses as
वो
well.
आपके behalf पे वो he is maintaining all of kind
हाँ, but आपको monthly
things
पे
और
करना है उसका.
हाँ बस आपको पे करना है आपको कोई इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्ड नहीं करना.
Correct. That is the
Correct.
private data center concept.
Okay.
Private cloud concept. Sorry.
Okay.
So now private cloud से क्या हुआ? Then there are companies like AWS who invented the concept of public cloud. There were a lot of other companies before that, like GoDaddy and all that, were before AWS, who invented the concept of public cloud. They said that I will create a massive data center. I will
Okay.
share it with the entire world. There will be no concept of you getting a dedicated line or anything. You can publicly access my, you can go through the public internet and access my infrastructure.
Okay.
And where is your data center? Where is your data center? What location it is? You will not get to know. But I will tell you that it is in this region. मतलब मैंने बोल दिया आपको बैंगलोर में है. बैंगलोर में कौन सा डेटा सेंटर है किधर आपको नहीं मालूम चलेगा. बट प्राइवेट क्लाउड में क्या होता है कि आपको इनफैक्ट प्राइवेट क्लाउड के ओनर विल टेल यू वेयर इज द डेटा सेंटर व्हिच लोकेशन इट इज. Sometimes he will give
But
you
I
the
think,
access to
oh,
that location as well.
okay.
Private cloud wala. Access as in physical access. Your people can go and switch off a server, switch on a server. Private cloud would be that. But public cloud, you will not know where it is, which data center it is hosted. But only
Okay.
you get is a virtual machine, compute power, storage power, network power. That's all. You will get that. और आपको अपने
Okay.
डिवाइस पे दिख जाएगा वो कहाँ है सर्वर आपका जो लाइसेंस चाहिए आपको सब मिल जाएगा उसमें.
Okay. Cool.
And hence the invention of public cloud happened. Public cloud became was a very slow development, unlike the thought process that public cloud will sell a lot. I've been selling public cloud, I've been talking to customers about public cloud from a while. In India and in APAC region, adoption was super slow. But
Okay.
in
Okay.
places like North America and all that, it sold very fast. But I mean, nonetheless, it could be a geographical reason as well. But
Some privacy issue, data.
privacy issues, a lot of concern about data being lost, which is not the case, and which is the case as well, debatable. But most data centers would, I mean, most public cloud providers like AWS, Google, will make you sign up a user agreement in the beginning where they will claim and they will put it also that your data is safe.
So, till now, is there any case we find of related data security?
Yeah, a lot of them. But that's a separate discussion, Shubham. It will
Oh,
take
oh,
an
sure.
hour again to talk
Okay,
about
okay.
what is the data privacy issues. But you're right in not in thinking in that direction. You're
Okay.
right that there could be breaches which we would not be able to control. But again, it is also said that the responsibility of a breach is collectively with the customer and AWS and well, AWS slash cloud, Google Cloud slash Azure, collectively with the customer and the provider both. It cannot be single-handedly handled by AWS alone, but it has to be handled by the customer also, which is true in the cases. But there have been cases again debatable. This is debatable that whether AWS owns the primary responsibility, Google Cloud owns the primary responsibility or not.
Okay, okay. So basically, a cloud solution is the you can say complementary part है कि you need not to build any kind of infrastructure, no
Yeah.
risk management you need to do, no complexity. So just simply you pay
Yeah,
monthly to those player, and you will get the services, and your data is safe, right?
absolutely. And
Okay.
let me show you some Gartner reviews. I think you will relate to it. Cloud, Magic Eye Cloud. You might relate to it better.
So, matlab, as of now, if you talk about the any tool that I'm using on the platform, cloud platform, so till now I'm using BigQuery on Google Cloud
Okay.
and Kubernetes to write some few scripts on Python. So that's it.
Okay. So, yeah, wonderful. Well, let me comment on BigQuery. BigQuery was a fantastic invention and a creation by Google Cloud. I have a lot of customers who only talk about BigQuery of Google Cloud. And I have
Um,
a very unique case study. I'll talk to you about it at the end of the discussion,
okay,
maybe,
okay,
of
cool, cool.
Google Cloud. When you have understood more what the cloud is, then maybe you will be able to relate to it.
Sure.
See, this is a magic quadrant of cloud infrastructure and platform services by Gartner. This was published in 2020. It is much more right now, but it is older case study. And if you say these three are the major players as a leader in the they're in the top quadrant, right? And then there are
Google, AWS,
players
and
who are
Microsoft.
catching up. Google is all three are still the same. They're up and down here and
Mhm.
there, catching up through each other.
Correct, correct.
They're still the same. Alibaba became very popular in between, but there are privacy concerns because they are based in China. They're a Chinese
It
company,
is
and
at correct, correct. Privacy
Alibaba's
issue.
UI and user interface is exactly the same of AWS. Copied.
Oh, it's a replica type.
Replica, literal replica. Oracle is a player who has a lot of money but doesn't know what it's doing.
I think, but it is more towards into SQL wala part and database, traditional database system.
Oracle.
Yes, yes.
Oracle has its own native platforms, right? The Oracle ERP and all that, those solutions.
Okay, cool,
So
cool.
e-business suite, yeah, I was forgetting the name. Their platform, their service called e-business suite, product called e-business suite by Oracle, which they sell it on their Oracle cloud with a very nominal price. Oracle is
Acha.
trying to beat the market and trying to catch up with Microsoft, Google from a long time, but they have a basic struggle. They have understood the cloud market to be a monopoly rather than a. They think it can be monopolized. They think you can bind. I mean, I don't want to confuse you too much with these terms or these thought processes, but Oracle thinks that if they bring a customer on board, the customer stays forever. It doesn't happen like
Okay.
that. But
Haha.
nonetheless, to give you a little more context, what were your other questions?
Okay, cool. So the next one is so I got it the what kind of solution actually cloud provides to the
Right.
organization. And the next one is who all this supposed to be shift on cloud, which kind of organization? Like if I'm opening any startup, so do I need to shift on cloud
Oh, that's a
solution
good
or do
question,
I need to
actually.
manage the?
That's a very good question. I'll give you a very, very uh, data-oriented answer to it.
So
Not
as you told about the Canara Bank, so so somewhere I read this case related to the bank towards the shifting of their server. So what I heard is exactly कि the core banking system should be on the banking server जो उनका
हाँ हाँ
traditional और legacy system है वहाँ पे होना चाहिए और apart from the core banking feature, the rest feature can be shifted on cloud to get more flexibility and speed and all these kind of things.
Yeah, that's an absolute correct analogy. But let me try to explain you from a perspective of
Okay,
what I saw. See,
okay, okay.
in my view of whatever cloud business I have been, I feel all customers should benefit out of this model. This model, I'm not saying the cost is up to them. What do they decide, whom do they want to go with, or how do they want to pay it, or if they want to do private cloud or they want to do public cloud. But this model of cloud should be in mind of any company, startup, enterprise, anybody should be able to
Okay.
take this. And because see, firstly, the major benefit is that they don't have to own anything. It's like you want a commercial space. You want a, just giving an analogy, you want a big commercial space, a showroom, but do you want to invest right away and buy a showroom, or do you rent it out first and see if your business works and then probably invest? You'll do the
I will prefer
latter,
the
right?
second option
Yeah, you'll do the second option, right? You will not go buy an office space or a commercial space right away. धंधा तो
until
चले
unless
पहले.
ki I'll be very sure that my business will work.
हाँ, और वो भी
Or is
90% of the times people will not do it.
right and also that I keep in mind कि मेरा data जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा security की demand है उसकी like something I'm handling national security related things core banking related things
Yeah.
तब मैं सोचता हूँगा कि हाँ ठीक है मुझे rent पूरा purchase ही करना चाहिए.
Absolutely. You got that right. Absolutely. So unless until I'm a bank where I'm holding PI information, personal information of people, credit card information of people, or
Correct.
RBI regulated information, or GDPR regulated information, I don't have to comply to anything. I don't really need to own anything. I can put it on somebody else's server and run my application through it. So let's say I have an application which does emailing to my clients, CRM application. It records opportunities for me. I'll rather buy a Salesforce. in a year.
Obviously,
I'll buy a
correct, correct.
Salesforce. Why should I go buy, create my own software and put it on the own data center, all that. So if you look at this, I am showing you this page because Google, I mean the cloud, not Google, Google, AWS, Azure, everybody together as business contribute $76 billion of revenue
It is worldwide.
worldwide. Yeah, yeah. This is worldwide
Okay.
information. Q1 2024 of all their companies. And this is massive, $76 billion. This
बहुत
is,
है यार.
look at this. It's like a country's revenue.
In quarter, if you talk about, so it will be around 2.5 trillion dollar.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. In a year, in a
I
year.
think 30 to 40% of the GDP of India,
Yep,
probably शायद
absolutely,
3.5 trillion dollar GDP.
absolutely. Do you think this is? I'm only saying this because everybody. It's not because everybody is doing it, but because everybody thinks it's valid. It is required for them, and major players are clearly evident. So, 25% of the Azure market is because Microsoft-based workloads come on Azure. Simple example.
Okay.
But let me
Uh,
not go deeper into it. Let me stay
okay.
over
Okay.
the layer. What is your next question? What do you think? What else do you want to
Okay.
understand?
So basically, you told about the service provider and the cloud solution as well. So
Right.
what are the challenges on cloud solution?
Oh,
So
this is a good question as well. Do you have a sub question to it?
Yes, yes, yes. And how it can be tackled. So basically, if I opted the cloud solution, so I'll be very clear in my mind कि हाँ मुझे cloud solution से ये सारी चीजें ये benefits मुझे मिलने वाला है. For example, I can get मतलब I don't need to build any kind of infrastructure और cost अच्छा रहेगा क्योंकि हमें कुछ ज़्यादा invest नहीं करना. So I just need to pay
हाँ,
monthly rent or kind of something. So but मतलब every coin has two sides, right? तो कुछ ना कुछ
absolutely.
issues जरूर होंगे.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm showing you top 15 which a website posted and kind of agree with it. Can you see my screen? No, you can't see.
Not
Okay.
really.
Can you see now? Yeah. Top 15
Yes.
cloud computing challenges with solutions, of course. Let's get into the solutions later. But I'll tell you a very important challenge which most customers we talk to face is these managing cloud spend, lack of resource expertise. They don't get people यार market में लोग ही नहीं मिलते उनको खुद के लिए. Managing cloud spend as in they don't know where they're spending, they're randomly spinning up stuff.
हाँ मुझे ना शशांक out of these challenges,
हाँ,
so I need to go deeper in managing cloud spend, lack
right.
of resource expertise, and managing multiple clouds.
Perfect.
Okay, and service quality
Okay.
and availability, reliability. That's it. So ये मुझे थोड़ा सा deeper में I need
No
to
problem.
understand.
No problem. So let me go to the ones which I think
Sure.
I hear a lot from customers.
Yes, yes, yes. So you can explain every challenges, but these challenges need
These
to be
deeper.
deeper.
Perfect. Perfect. See, managing cloud spend. I'll give you a customer story, and this stays between this discussion itself. There's a large GSI. I cannot officially name the GSI. I might get a legal notice also. If I not to largest GSI of our country. GSI
Okay.
meaning IT ITS, like the mass hires of our organization. I don't want to name them again. I worked with them for good 3 years. As in, I was in one of my previous organization. Okay, again, I can't name the organization as well, but I was working with them. Their spend of AWS was close to 35 CR in a year,
Oh,
35 crores in a year. You know
okay.
what they used to do? A very stupid thing. Very stupid thing. I'm telling that stupid very out loud because that's why I'm not naming the company. They would let everybody in their company spin up AWS instances without having a proper control. So any
Okay.
Tom, Dick, and Harry could go to their platform and just go spin up an AWS instance
Okay.
without any approval, nothing.
Okay.
Which is the need of AWS, right? Everybody should be able to spin up any infrastructure, but there was no control of who switches it off, who pauses it, who closes that account, who manages the cost of that account. There was no structure behind it. So what happened at the end of the year? 32 crores will become 36, 38, 39, 40 crores.
Okay.
That 8 crores of extra money just because of nobody was managing it.
Okay. So,
What I did, sorry, Shubham, go ahead. You
uh,
ask your question first.
so Shashank, so the cloud solution to the partner and the provider who provides the cloud solution. So here, there is any recharge kind of thing like कि ये limited limitations है. Like you have
No, no,
done a
no, no.
top
It
up
is
of
like a
50,000.
postpaid service for enterprises.
Okay, okay. तभी तो पैसा बना रहे हैं. अच्छा.
It is like a
Okay.
postpaid service for enterprises. For users like you and me, we have to attach a credit card.
Okay, okay,
So it
okay.
gets billed on your credit card.
Okay, ताकि जितना खींच सकते हैं पैसे.
Yeah. Why the purpose of having a cloud service is the ease of using it.
Correct, correct.
वो तो
But
पैसे
for
भी बनाएगा उसमें, of course पैसे बनाएगा उसमें.
so most of the people don't have the plan to optimize use, so that's
Yeah.
why they lose money.
That is what. That's an absolute valid question. So the solution to that problem of that iTest company was that we created a connector to a centralized system. Solution called CMP, Cloud Management Platform, was created. CMP would let users come to the platform and create an instance, but as in the backend, it will also inform their finance team that this instance this team has created. They have to fill in the information and give. And while that information was stored, finance would automatically would be able to generate an email to the head of that division and say that your team member has created this instance. Please approve, whatever. There would be a automated approval system back at the back end, so that there is a revenue recognition accountability. As in, there is a revenue being spent by your team. There is an accountability done as well. So CMP is where a
Okay.
concept which was invented back in 2014-15, I think, when I was working with that company, and that's where we realized this problem could be solved.
So it's a centralized planning system, or मतलब every cloud provider has their own cloud management provider system.
Every cloud provider has their own. That's the right question.
Okay.
Cloud management platform, but most companies, large ITES, will not know how to utilize the CMP of AWS separately, Google separately, Azure separately. So a CMP,
Okay.
a common CMP, a third-party CMP would do is they will integrate AWS, Azure, Google in one portal, and then let the enterprise use it. So
Okay,
simply, it
okay.
was like a landing page.
All right, all right. So as per my information, so मेरा organization में क्या होता है? Because if someone join as a data analyst or as a
Yeah.
product manager or as a any backend related kind of designation which requires to access the database, so what we will do, we just drop a mail to the IT by accepting some TNCs that you so if you are using the BigQuery, so you never run a query by mentioning select star kind of thing कि star लगा के नहीं चलानी है आपको query. ठीक है,
हाँ.
so that कि usage ज़्यादा होता है this kind, so इस तरीके के कुछ compliances होते हैं that you need to accept the terms and condition. After that you will be granted the permission for Google BigQuery, and after that so हर हफ्ते या on every month, so they raise an invoice kind of thing, तो जहाँ पे वो cost की analysis कर सकते हैं. So I think
हाँ.
they have some kind of dashboard, so जो cost आती है, तो इस तरीके से हमारे organization में track
So
करते
this is the manual way of doing it. I
हैं.
am
Okay.
saying if I put a tool between this,
Okay.
simple, right?
अच्छा.
Whatever compliances you have as a requirement, what if I say that I'll put a tool between it? All that
अच्छा.
compliances requirement will be handled by the tool. That
Okay.
whenever somebody is going and raising a BigQuery instance through the tool, firstly the access will be given through the tool, and in that tool there will be a page which will say terms and conditions. You agree
Okay.
on it, click on agree on it. So CMP does that essentially, and CMP also does more than this. Like it will give you recommendations, like your instance is over consumed or under consumed. Your BigQuery code is not right. It could be optimized like this. What if
Okay.
it did that? So CMP
Okay.
would help managing the entire cloud spend. What
Okay.
you guys are doing is you are putting manual interventions. People create problems, right? People are the ones who are creating these problems and creating iterations in between, and hence you are
हाँ
solving them.
मतलब हाँ मतलब this is the only one kind of accepting the terms and condition जहाँ पे आपने you have gone through the terms and condition and you just say yes I agree to that.
Yeah.
But now you have the access of BigQuery. You can write select star query and you can run as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So CMP in between will come and make that play. So what my organization does is tells that we have a CMP, but we have people as well. Both
Okay.
our CMP and people will be 24/7 available to you, and these are the standard cost for you. They will create an SOW for the client and say that we will manage your cloud spend everything together. We will do financial operations, keep your spend lesser, but we will take this much percentage or this much cost.
Okay.
That's a revenue model as well.
Okay, okay. So, ठीक है. So yeah, Sashank. So, can you just go deeper in how we are actually managing the cloud spend? So, for example, like if my organization is using BigQuery,
Right.
Google Cloud BigQuery, and the monthly bill is come around 10 to 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs.
Right.
So,
Right.
it can be optimized, and how it can be optimized?
Okay, let me give you an example of the one which I understand the best. BigQuery
Okay,
is
okay,
not in
cool.
my daily use a lot, but
हाँ हाँ
a
कोई नहीं
lot
कोई
of
नहीं
it
you can
I
take the
will tell you from an
AWS.
instance of an EC2. Let's say there is a company which has spun up 14 EC2s for one of their XYZ application, and they're running based on whatever they felt was deemed fit for the for the application, and they started running these EC2s, and a lot of EBS volumes were attached to it. So the process of optimizing these will be understanding if the EC2 machines are fit for the application or not. Are they? So basically, what happens is sometimes customers over consume or under consume, as in they will take a very large virtual machine, virtual machine meaning they will have 16 vCPU based virtual machine for a requirement of a 4 vCPU machine only. So they are over consuming, under consuming around 8, sorry around 12, right? 16 का मशीन उन्होंने स्पिन अप कर दिया, बट उनको चाहिए सिर्फ 4. अब वो कैसे पता चलेगा? We will know by CPU utilization. So
Okay.
CPU utilization, let's say if the 16 vCPU utilization is not at all near 50%, then we know that it is only 88 vCPUs required. And if it is around 40%, then we know that it is 40% of 16. That's around
Okay.
4. That's
Okay.
how we will know, 4 to 5 basically, that's around that. That's how we'll know that CPU utilization is a metric, a monitoring metric, which every virtual machine can show.
Okay. Okay. So
It is inbuilt in the
using of
AWS itself.
using of CPU metric, you will be able to know that how many
हाँ,
virtual
वो
machines are
अंडर यूटिलाइज
using
हो रहा है या
currently.
ओवर यूटिलाइज हो रहा है. जैसे वो
Correct.
100% यूटिलाइज हो रहा है पूरे महीने भर, तो हमको पता है कि वो ओवर यूटिलाइज हो रहा है, तो मशीन बड़ा
Correct.
चाहिए.
Okay. Okay. So
16 की
machine.
जगह हमको
Yes. Yes.
20 चाहिए.
Correct. Correct.
This is
And
a very simple way of
underutilized हो
knowing
रहा है
it.
तो okay. And underutilized हो रहा है तो virtual जो rest of the virtual machine है उसको off कर सकते हैं.
Exactly. No, so a VM, a virtual machine, is given based on the vCPUs. As in, you can create, or in Google you can create, in in AWS there are given that they
Okay.
will say that 16 vCPU का ये machine है, आप use करो, या 4
Okay.
vCPU
Okay.
का ये machine है, ये use करो. In
Okay.
Google you could literally scroll 16 to 17, 18 to 20 ऐसा कर सकते हो आप, और फिर
Okay.
उसको
Okay.
स्पिन अप कर सकते हो. बट इन AWS 16 से हमको वापस माइग्रेट करना पड़ेगा 4 में. सो वी विल हैव टू डाउनग्रेड दैट वर्चुअल मशीन.
Okay, so on the basis of the CPU utilization, you can reduce the VM and or you can say downgrade or
रिड्यूस,
upgrade the VM.
डाउनग्रेड दोनों कर
Uh,
सकते हो. इवन
okay,
अपग्रेड विल
downgrade.
सेव कॉस्ट, बिकॉज इन अपग्रेड व्हाट विल हैपन इज, in upgrade the vCPU, the virtual machine is not shutting down abruptly. अगर वो over utilize होता है तो sometimes the machines shut down abruptly,
Okay,
because at the end it's a physical device, right? It is getting heated up and it shuts down or it breaks. It can break,
Okay.
so it can happen. Anything can happen. I'm just giving an example. Let's say if it breaks and there are a lot of downtimes because of that. So companies
Okay.
anyways losing money because of it, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, yeah. Matlab, in my organization, I have seen that my
Yeah,
BigQuery is taking too much time to give a result.
absolutely, absolutely. So that could be one analysis, right? And on the other hand, sometimes very basic. Sometimes people will attach storage to a virtual machine and never use that storage. It'll just be attached and kept. पड़ा है ऐसे यार
Okay.
मतलब मैंने attach कर दिया.
Okay. So
So
इसकी भी कॉस्टिंग बनती है फिर.
हाँ, exactly. You have spun up anything on cloud, there is a cost to it.
Okay, so you mean to say that कि अगर मैंने लाइसेंस ले रखा है फॉर एग्जांपल के तौर पे जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड इन अ लेमैन मैनर सो जस्ट लाइक मेरे पास लाइसेंस है 64 जीबी का और
हाँ,
मैंने 64 जीबी का अपना कोई सेटअप अलाइन कर रखा है डजंट मैटर मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ या नहीं यूज कर रहा हूँ सो
yes, yes.
सो AWS और गूगल जो प्रोवाइडर्स हैं
और
दे
Azure.
विल थिंक दैट कि मेरी एक 64 जीबी की बैंडविड्थ एक एक्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को ऑलरेडी डेडिकेटेड है डजंट मैटर वो
Yes,
यूज कर रहे हैं
yes,
नहीं यूज
yes.
कर
It
रहे
will get charged.
हैं
Absolutely, it will get
and
charged.
that's why they will get charged.
Yes, yes. Because they are losing
Okay,
money now
got
by
it.
allocating it for you.
Right. So the best thing is that you can tell the Google or you can tell your provider in any means. You can it might be there will be a process. So you can tell Google or your provider that ठीक है मेरे पास है 64 जीबी की परमिशन बट मुझे ना जरूरत ही नहीं है तो 32 जीबी का ना डाउनग्रेड कर दो राइट
You
सो
shut
दैट्स
it
व्हाई
down. You don't have to tell. You can do it yourself. You shut it down or
okay
you
okay
downgrade it.
got it then you will be charged for only 32
Only
GB.
32. Yep, absolutely. So that is also a way of optimizing it.
Okay, got it, Shashank.
And also another thing, sometimes it happens that let's say we are hosting an application which doesn't need a Windows license. It can run on Linux also. हमने बेफिलहाल के ऐसे ही Windows license का VM spin up कर दिया. The license it's of Windows itself is very expensive. And upon that you have spun up a virtual machine which has Windows base but your application doesn't need it. So why? Matlab, those also could be, I mean, these are human errors, right? These are some of the examples I'm giving you.
Got it.
And as a user or as an enterprise, I would not know it because I don't deal with such things day in and day out. But as a provider, a lot of providers, like my organization itself, will know it because by experience they would have researched on it. They have understood how the players work, all that.
So, मतलब as of now, मतलब till now, I'm having the persona like कि you will be only charged once you will starting consume that actually, not on the allocation
No.
basis.
It's a space lost, right?
Right. Got it. So that means कि that is completely कि like आपने rent पे कर लिया doesn't matter आप रह रहे हो नहीं रह रहे हो rent
रह रहे
आपको
हो नहीं
देना
रह
है
रहे हो, exactly.
हाँ, rent
Why
देना
would
है
the
okay
owner let you take his space
हाँ
for without
got
paying?
it
Logic is
got
that.
it got it
Oh, I mean, I don't
हाँ
want to further deep dive into it. I think you understood.
हाँ
Let's
हाँ
talk about the other
right I
thing.
understood
Managing
yes
multi-cloud.
yes yes
Let me talk about that. That's an interesting concept. See, again that IT company only. I will take an example. Large SI company hires a lot of freshers. I mean, by that you would have understood what I'm talking about. But they have, still have it. AWS, Azure, Google, as well as their own data center. बहुत पैसा है उनके पास. ये चारों है उनके पास. And every AWS is managed by somebody else, some other team. Google is managed by some other team. Azure is managed by some other team. And they
okay
have their own internal data center managed by somebody else.
something got it
Multiple places of management and there is multiple spends for it. Firstly, so much cost, so many resources. Even though they have a lot of resources, but does it make sense? No, it doesn't.
okay
Can you
so
not have a centralized team to manage everything? Yes, they can.
okay so hiring or relying on multiple cloud providers it's just simply like diversify your risk kind of thing right
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
okay
Imagine if this blog itself talks a lot of things, saying that using multi-cloud data management solution is good, but I mean, if you do multiple clouds and you are not able to put a centralized location to it, you are anyways losing on security. There's a lot of security challenges. So CMP as a platform, cloud management platforms, are the key to this as well. Or, I mean, let's not think about CMP at all. There could be a lot of open source tools which could integrate all of these cloud providers into one. For
Okay.
developers, it's a very classic example here. For developers, Terraform can provide a deal to control over multi-cloud architectures. For developer community, this is very nice. I
Mhm.
have heard people talking about Terraform being used for multi-cloud management.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I think this also you understood, right? Do you have any questions on
Right.
this?
Right. No. No. No.
Other was you were asking about uh,
Availability and reliability
availability and reliability. Oh yeah, this is wonderful.
and
See,
performance. I think it's not performance is not even here, right?
performance is not given, but let me talk about it as well. See, availability and reliability. Let's classic example. NVIDIA GPU instances. Have you heard of
Mhm.
them?
Uh, matlab, I heard the name of the company
Huh.
that it makes chips and all semiconductor
Okay, let
chips.
me show you. Uh, show you something very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I think I found something. See, yeah. These are the machine types. These are, firstly, I told you about what virtual machines are, right? They are, virtual machines are sliced from a physical server, and that's how the cloud provider sells to the other providers as well,
Okay.
right? So GPU is a very specific, unique type of specialty workload. Let me say they are graphic processor user. What is the full form? I'm telling it correctly.
Graphical processing unit.
Processing units, right? So GPU instances are specifically designed for your AI workloads, or your CAD CAM workloads, for your video streaming, for your heavy
Gaming,
graphic intensive
gaming,
workloads.
gaming.
Yes, gaming as well. So
Correct.
there are a lot of NVIDIA chips
Okay.
which are sitting in these physical servers, and hence they were sliced and given. So these NVIDIA chips are not available everywhere. They're expensive. They're expensive because the way they are being created, they're created with specialist semiconductors, and hence they are very expensive. And every provider, Google's is one instance, every provider has different types of such machines.
Okay.
NVIDIA L4 machines, NVIDIA H100 machines, and they call it A2 machines or N1 machines or all that. These are not, see, if you see, they are written as generally available everywhere, here generally available, but not available in a lot of regions.
Okay.
Google has multiple regions. I don't know if you're aware of what I'm talking about regions. Do you want to understand what a region is
You
first?
can talk about a
Yeah.
bit.
So let me talk about that first. So AWS and Google have a concept called regions, as in they have availability of cloud machines or uh, cloud centers in particular regions, like particular places. So if
Okay.
you see this map here, these are the small dots where Google has data centers.
Okay.
Like I was saying that example that AWS will tell that मेरा मुंबई में data center है,
हम्म,
मुंबई में मेरा availability है, किधर है वो नहीं बताएगा, but मुंबई में है.
अच्छा. Okay. Okay.
Similarly, Google will say this that मेरा मुंबई में है, दिल्ली में है, दिल्ली में है, सिंगापुर में है, जकार्ता में है, but किधर है मैं नहीं बताऊंगा, but है यहाँ पे. तुम्हारा ping speed will change based on the city, not based on which part of the city.
अच्छा.
Anymore, that, I mean, that is not a problem anymore these days. So so these are called regions, simply nothing else. Regions
अच्छा.
have zones. उस region में कितने और अलग अलग आपके 4 सेंटर है, 5 सेंटर है, तो उसको zones बोलते हैं.
अच्छा. Okay. Got it.
बस सिंपल. लाइक मेक्सिको हैज इज अ जोन. यहाँ 3 जोन होंगे यहाँ पर. सॉरी, फ्यूचर है, चलिए मतलब एक
हाँ,
डॉट में अगर 3
got
जोन
it.
है तो हाँ, तो हर
Got
डॉट पे
it.
3 जोन है. मतलब इनके पास
Got
3 डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टाइप के डेटा सेंटर्स हैं.
it.
Now, coming back to the GPU example. So these GPU are very processor and GPU intensive virtual machines. I mean, these machines, A3 machines and all that. Hence, they are not available everywhere. So if I say, is it available in Doha? I don't know. I need to check. I mean, the answer would be that. Google will say that नहीं, दोहा में अवेलेबल नहीं है, मेरे को एनवीडिया में सॉरी मैं तुमको G2 मशीन दे सकता हूँ. क्या तुम्हारा काम चलेगा G2 मशीन से? I don't. If your application is very intense and needs something like an H100 and not an A100, then it will, or
Mhm.
a L4, then it will be fine. Just giving an
Okay.
example, it may not be right in
It's
that
a
context.
capacity of a
Yes,
server.
capacity of that virtual machine, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
The lower you go, the lesser the, the below you go, lesser the capacity. Higher
Okay.
you
Got
go,
it.
matlab H100s are the very good ones actually, as far as I know. Yeah, one of the examples is here. See, GPU cluster 1600 cluster handle कर सकता है H100 और 8 GB
Okay.
मेगा वाला मशीन. बट ये H100 8 GB वाला मशीन 800 cluster handle कर सकता है. So that itself tells you, right? And the L4 machine, what is this? Tesla 14. NVIDIA Tesla 14 machine can handle only. Where is that?
Some-
Cluster. No, no, no. Cluster is not. Network cluster. Okay, I mean just from a context you will understand with GPU count also. See 8 count GPU का है यहाँ एक बस कम है छोटे छोटे machines है. So
Got it.
A2 में whereas in A2 you have a lot of clusters and a lot of GPU count. So that also tells how the performance is.
Okay. And Shashank, in cloud solutions, so is there any kind of downtime as well we can feel?
Oh yeah. They have an availability percentage, as in they will say that I will be available all 365 days except for 4 hours in the year. Then we will say that it is 99.996, 9959 percentage if it's only certain percentage of SLA available. They will all cloud providers will have certain downtime, but very minimal. And if
Okay.
they
So
do have a downtime, if there is a patching in a particular server, then they will generally call it out to you and say that there will be a patching in this server or there will be a downtime in this server. You please move this to a different VM virtual machine. Meanwhile, this downtime is handled. And they will compensate for that as well. So downtimes are very low and minimal in cloud.
okay, okay, all right. So, but during that
But they are
downtime, my
SLA
business
driven,
will
as in
be
they will say
hampered.
that we'll be 99.999% times available.
Okay, okay,
And if they go beyond it and there are certain hours, if they go beyond it, you can penalize them and they will refund it as well.
okay, okay, okay. All right, all right.
That's a
ठीक
short
है.
answer to it.
Got it, got it. So, okay, ठीक है. So, is there any company is or any startup or any organization who is more towards into the managing of Google Cloud space or to these kind of to address these kind of challenges?
Oh yes, I'm in that business, Shubham.
Okay,
My business, my company does that business. Birlasoft Limited does that business. Handles all these challenges and charges the customer. बोलता है कि ये सारे challenges मैं तुम्हारे handle करूँगा और तुमको मैं charge करूँगा
so
of certain percentage.
for example, suppose करते हैं like there is an organization who has been charged from a cloud solution by 1 CR monthly, and तो that client come to you and said कि भाई मेरा 1 करोड़ का बिल आता है, so
हाँ.
you can just handle these changes and क्या इसकी मंथली कॉस्टिंग कितना आप कम कर सकते हो, right?
Yeah, there are
And
conversations
you
like that
just
I have handled as well. Yeah.
and you analyze their overall system, and after analyzing you will say that कि हाँ ठीक है, this X percentage I can save
For you,
yours,
I will charge you this
and
much.
and for that I will charge this particular much of
Yes,
amount.
absolutely.
Okay, okay,
Generally,
ठीक है.
customers or enterprises like to do it on their own, but if they don't have the skill set, somebody like a travel company will not have a skill set. Somebody like a manufacturing company will not have a skill set. So they will outsource it to somebody.
Until unless they belong from the core IT,
हाँ वो नहीं handle करते हैं. The generally startups
except
and all that can handle on their own. They have technology
हाँ.
people like you and me, and they will handle it. But larger companies, I'm giving you an example. Largest truck manufacturing company of the world. Don't want to name them. They have a very classic use case with us like this.
Okay,
We
okay.
manage the entire IT for them. Entire IT for them.
Okay.
One of the largest cement manufacturing of the world, entire IT. Previous organization I was in, I mean there were a lot of, I mean previous organization customers I can name now. Okay, so there is a company called Ramco Cements in India.
Okay.
You would have heard of them. Ads dekha hoga. उसका पूरा SAP, IT, डेटा सेंटर सब कुछ मेरी पुरानी कंपनी हैंडल कर।
ओके ओके ऑल राइट।
और वो
ठीक
they were on a cloud provider.
ओके ओके ऑल राइट।
Absolute use case.
Cool,
It is an
Shashank.
absolute use case. And I
Okay.
think your another question was performance, right? See, again,
Right, right.
performance is a very unique and a very general term. As in, how do I say it? Sometimes, like you are a product company, for you, performance is the speed at which your
Latency,
developers can,
latency and speed. Yes,
yeah,
latency.
speed at which your developers can code and deploy a solution, and it runs feasibly, right? Performance could be no downtime for a manufacturing customer. Performance could be a legacy migration, successful legacy migration, as in कोई पुराने data center में है वो उससे वो cloud में चला गया. That could be performance for any other customer. I'm just giving examples. So performance is unique to that client. It cannot be generalized. So I cannot tell you that performance of AWS is very good for one client but not for another client. I cannot
Okay.
tell you that at all because the client is measuring in a different way. No, the scale of measure is different.
Okay, Shashank, one last doubt. So, for example, as we have gone earlier, that like I have my organization has been allocated with the 64 GB of bandwidth, but is there any chance that my organization can use beyond 64 GB
For what?
without
Which
telling
service is this?
any kind of service? You can say AWS and provider, AWS or Google Cloud,
64 GB of bandwidth of
beyond the
uh,
bandwidth, allocated bandwidth.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Like
What is this? This is an MPLS line or a lease line?
public cloud provider, no?
So there is a tunnel created by your company, is it?
Not exactly. I'm not much aware
No,
about
no,
that.
no. 64 GB of what bandwidth?
Okay. So, for example, I have hired a Google Cloud provider. They have
Uh-huh.
allocated me that you can use 64 GB of the bandwidth. And मतलब एग्जांपल के तौर पे बता रहा हूँ मैं जस्ट हाँ
समझ गया मैं
64
समझ गया.
GB bandwidth
And
allocated है and for that I've been paid. I have मेरा फेयर जाता है that is कुछ x amount है जा रहा है ठीक है. So whether I'm using that 64 GB or not using that 64 GB, I have been charged for that particular x amount. Correct?
this is for BigQuery, is it?
Yeah, you can take as
No,
example of
क्या
BigQuery.
नेटवर्क बैंडविड्थ है क्या है ये मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ अभी भी. नेटवर्क बैंडविड्थ है या ये एप्लीकेशन बैंडविड्थ है या
नेटवर्क
क्लाउड
बैंडविड्थ समझ लो,
बैंड नेटवर्क
क्लाउड
बैंडविड्थ.
बैंडविड्थ समझ लो, क्लाउड बैंडविड्थ समझ लो, क्लाउड बैंडविड्थ.
नहीं नहीं ये दोनों अलग ही कॉन्सेप्ट है. शुभम डोंट टेक मी, आई एम नॉट डिमीनिंग, आई एम नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ओनली क्या क्वेश्चन है. तो
अच्छा.
मैं मतलब देखो व्हेन यू से बैंडविड्थ इन माय माइंड इट इज इंटरनेट बैंडविड्थ.
No, it's not internet bandwidth. For example, कुछ ऐसा समझते हैं
हाँ
सिंपल लैंग्वेज में कि लाइक आई हैव रेंटेड अ फ्लैट.
राइट
मैंने अभी टेक अ फ्लैट ऑन अ रेंट. सो जिसका रेंट अभी जाता है 20,000 पर मंथ.
करेक्ट
ठीक है.
ठीक है.
सो so it is this flat is on ground floor जहाँ पे 2 BHK फ्लैट है. बट मेरे फ्लैट के जस्ट बगल में ही एक वैकेंट स्पेस है. ठीक है,
हाँ
जो अभी कोई यूज नहीं करता. सो क्या मैं वो वेकेंट प्लेस भी यूज कर सकता हूँ? ऑल्दो मैं चार्ज किया जा सकता, ऑल्दो मैं चार्ज मतलब जो लैंडलॉर्ड है वो चार्ज करेगा मुझे, बट क्या मैं यूज कर सकता हूँ बिना लैंडलॉर्ड को बताए?
एक सेकेंड. सो योर 64 no, no, let me answer that simply. Yes, you can. You will be charged for it. But
Okay.
landlord को पता है, as in landlord is Google here, right?
राइट राइट
Now
करेक्ट
Google
करेक्ट.
has to be informed, no? How would you do it without asking?
ओके. सो विदाउट
Google will
लिमिट
know it anyways.
लिमिट. ओके, सो जो लिमिट गूगल ने दे रखी है उसको अगर हमें अपग्रेड करना है सो आई हैव.
You have to inform Google. Yeah.
ओके
If that is what you mean by that, then
यस
yeah,
यस
answer is simple. You have to tell.
यस दैट इज
उसको पता चल ही जाएगा, तुम्हारे इनवॉइस में तो आएगा ना, तुम्हारे बिल में तो आएगा, तो उसको
ओके.
पता चल ही जाएगा. बिल तो वही जनरेट कर रहा है ना. एट द
हाँ,
एंड लैंड ओनर ही तो आपको आके इनवॉइस पकड़ा रहा है ना,
करेक्ट करेक्ट
तो
करेक्ट
देखेगा
करेक्ट.
कि क्या इनवॉइस है.
ओके गॉट इट.
So if you are saying 64 GB allocated space, you mean that
Right.
allocated space, right? You don't mean bandwidth.
Right. Right.
Bandwidth is specifically term for network or internet or
Okay.
generally. इसीलिए मैं confuse हो गया, but I
Okay.
understood
Okay.
what you
Okay. So
meant.
it's so
You
it's a
meant
64
allocated
GB
space.
allocated. Right.
Allocated space. वो allocated space has to be when you have to increase it, you have to inform. You cannot inform without increasing. I mean, without
Okay.
increasing,
Okay.
without you telling, you cannot increase.
Okay, okay. So there is a so ultimately there is a chance that I'll be using less than allocated quantity, but
And
I
but you
cannot
still
be
have to be
using.
yeah, you still will be charged for 64 GB. Yes, that answer is
Okay,
also
okay,
right.
okay. Got it.
मैंने
Got
मतलब
it.
मैंने बोला कि सिंपल है ना, मैंने बोला 60/40 प्लॉट मुझे चाहिए. मैंने
Hmm.
60/40 में सिर्फ कोने में 30/40 का घर बनाया. मैं
Hmm.
बाकी 30/40 वापस थोड़ी कर सकता हूँ. पॉइंट इज
Hmm.
दैट.
Got it. Got it.
या तो मुझे बेचना पड़ेगा किसी और को
Correct. Correct.
वो 30/40, या तो वो ओनर को वापस बेचना पड़ेगा. अगर वापस बेचना पड़ेगा तो मेरे को इन्फॉर्म तो करना ही पड़ेगा. तो मैं इन्फॉर्म करूंगा तब मतलब मैं डाउनग्रेड कर रहा हूँ बेसिकली. सिंपल.
Correct. 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 And अगर मुझे उससे ज़्यादा चाहिए तो that means we are upgrading it, and also for that also we need to inform that.
अगर आप रियल एस्टेट टर्म्स में सोचते हो हमेशा विद क्लाउड, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली डूइंग इट राइट. थिंक ऑफ क्लाउड एज
Okay.
रियल एस्टेट. I've always
Oh, oh.
thought of that.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, simple way, right? 64 GB allocated space. Think of that as a somebody's house.
Okay. ठीक है. Cool, Shashanka. I have done with my queries and all.
हो गया ना. और and I am always available if you have any queries. If I don't know, see, technology is a thing which always not everybody will be 100% sure. If I
Yeah.
don't know, I will try to direct you to somebody.
Sure, sure, sure,
Direct you
Shashanka.
to somebody, or you know, have someone call you or something like that will be.
Sure, Shashanka.
ठीक है.
ठीक है, cool, yeah. Thank you.
Cool. I had a nice time talking to you, and I think we spoke
Same here.
for an hour. As I told you, it's an hour conversation.
Yes.
It is an
Yes.
hour conversation.
It has been an hour.
चलो ठीक है.
Cool, yeah.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night and bye.